Back on MorningLine, thanks for joining us. Final segment this morning. I always enjoy talking about healthy living, which is pretty neat stuff. And we can take your phone calls at 737-7587. We had someone in Holly who waited through the break. So,
Okay.
by the way, this is Holly Ladd, and she's a wellness coach and has all kinds of information on how you can live healthier. But does that really mean happier?
You keep asking me that question. And I'm going to keep answering
I don't want to give up my lamb chops. I mean, when was the last time you had a juicy lamb chop?
Hey, in the spring, I love lamb chops.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
No, you have told me that.
You don't have to give up your lamb chops.
You don't have to give everything up. All right, let's go to Jewel. Jewel, good morning.
Top of the morning, man.
How are you, my friend?
Fine, fine. And you?
Good. What's going on? How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Hunky-dory.
Okay.
I just wanted to compliment you on that beautiful young lady sitting there next to you. I don't know what she's eating, but it sure agrees with her.
It does, doesn't it? She's healthy.
Yes, indeed. Look here, if I get to live, I'll be 72 on the 20th of this month. I only weigh about 150 pounds, and but I drink about 4 cups of coffee every morning.
Mm-hmm.
I get a vitamin B12 shot every month. I take a vitamin D3 and an over-the-counter aspirin every day. And I probably ought to eat more, but I think there's some benefits to fasting too, isn't there? Let your body cleanse itself and such as that. I eat lots of nuts. I love salad and avocados out of the shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I think he's.
man.
Well, thank you for calling, Jewel. And I think you're going to live to be 100, my friend. First of all, the idea of fasting, as he said, to cleanse. I don't mean that as much, but I find sometimes when I just eat less, which is still enough for me, as opposed to maybe just gorging on a big pizza one night or something, I just have more energy.
Yeah, I mean, there are anti-aging experts out there with solid research that a calorically restricted diet can improve your aging, and you can age more healthily.
I believe it.
So, but do all of us want to do I mean, it's hard to live, less than 1,000 calories a day.
Oh,
for
I
a
didn't
lot
mean
of us,
that
right?
less, but yeah.
But that's the restriction, right? They're talking about 40% less calories, basically.
Just put it into context for folks what 1,000 calories is so they can understand how little food that is. I mean, you can get 1,000 calories in what? A little mini bag of...
if you eat a bag of potato chips, you're 1,000 calories. Or if you have, a burger and fries, you're pretty much...
Yeah, probably. At least 1,000 right there.
Yeah, I mean, it really, again, it depends on what you're eating, right?
Yeah.
1,000 calories.
But even you can get 1,000 calories of nuts, and it's not a ton.
Not a ton.
and
Maybe a
for one
cup
day,
or so,
yeah,
cup and a half.
I can't live on a cup of nuts a day.
No, you might for a couple days, but But let's get back to this caller. I mean, he's doing great. Salads and avocados, and he's thin. He's got vitality and energy, and getting those B vitamins as we age. It's really important to get our B vitamins, vitamin D3.
But what's that shot he's talking about? I've had a B12 shot just for kicks once. I want to see what it did. I didn't notice anything radically, but then again, I probably wasn't at a big deficit. It's a bright red.
Yeah.
If you go to get B12 shot, they gave it to me in my butt, and it's the vaccine. Well, not a vaccine, but the fluid is red.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really bright red. And what is B12 going to do in an injection? I know a lot of senior citizens get those.
Yeah. So a lot of times the vitamin B12 that we take in a pill form doesn't make it to our system because of stomach acids and all sorts of interference, right, when you take something orally. Now, there are some that you can take sublingually that are methylized, that actually just melt into your bloodstream. They sort of avoid the, it's not a pill.
Put it under your tongue or something?
You put it on your tongue and let it dissolve. But there are certain people that just can't absorb it that way, and so a shot is a much more effective way of getting it into the bloodstream.
It's supposed to give you a little more energy, maybe,
and
or
it's a
somehow
larger dose, so.
Okay, so vitamin B12, and then what is the emphasis? You said even at your younger age, you were at a real deficit for vitamin D when you first transitioned your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Vitamin D, I know it's fortified in milk. Is that what you get from being out in the sun?
Yes.
Where are the deficits coming for Americans?
Well, the
what
deficits are that we spend most of our time indoors anymore. I mean, 90% of our day we're inside, right? Lights and fluorescent lights, and we're just not. In the old days, in our ancestral days, even 150 years ago, we were
out a lot.
Out working the farm. We were out, on the horses. We were outside, right? And we've just developed into this vitamin D deficiency society, and most of us that live, I can't remember what the longitudinal number is, but most of us that live in North America are probably vitamin D deficient.
Yeah.
And vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, it's a hormone that regulates a lot of biochemistry in the body, and it actually tames inflammation and reduces your risks of chronic disease. So if you have low levels of vitamin D, you're more at risk for chronic diseases, whether it be cardiovascular, whether it be diabetes, whether it be inflammatory, autoimmune.
How do you test if you're low for that? Is that a blood test?
It's a blood test, yeah.
And they can say when they do the scan, among other things, you're maybe low on vitamin D. We need to boost that.
Right, and we need to, some doctors have different ranges of, what your optimal level is, but, it should be over probably 50 would be a good, safe number.
Okay. All right. I bet you a lot of people are low on vitamin D.
I would recommend for sure that people get their vitamin D tested.
Okay.
Vitamin D hydroxy, yeah.
Hydroxy. All right. Let's go to Bill. Hi, Bill.
How you doing this morning?
Good. Good morning, Bill. What's on your mind?
Anyway, it's a great show.
Thanks.
When I grew up, I had physical education every day in school on up to the 12th grade. We had health classes on the 4 major food groups to eat properly and things of this sort. And I still work out to go to the gyms. My land gyms are such great prices nowadays.
Yeah.
And we got so beautiful many parks around to walk in. And but my major question is why don't schools understand that physical education is a major part of being a successful person anymore? They just want to fill them up with so much academics in elementary, middle, and high schools instead of understanding the importance of having physical education, because we live in such a beautiful country, United States, but we ought to be ashamed of ourselves of being so obese.
Well, I think it's probably changed since we've been in school. I agree. I remember everything he said, but I'm thinking about my son himself. I think it's budgetary stuff in a lot of levels.
Yeah.
They come down to, okay, what do we cut? Is it going to be reading and writing, or is it going to be dodgeball? I think you know the answer to that. And so that's where they're not teaching as much unless you play a school sport and you're good enough to make a team or something like that. I don't know how much PE there is anymore.
I don't either, and I completely agree with Bill, the caller. It's disgraceful that, schools have eliminated recess and physical activity and physical education, because it is an important part, and it's an important part of allowing our brains to grow and develop, right? So that activity actually increases our ability to learn and hang on to information. So, and food-wise, the food that they're serving in school and feeding our kids is not nourishing the brain and not sort of supporting learning, in my opinion.
Right.
I know there are some initiatives here in Nashville to get more farm-to-table foods in schools, and there's movements across the country to bring in some meditation in schools and some
yoga,
things like
that.
And things to help with the stress, right? Because I think schools become very stressful for kids. But you're absolutely right. We're not taught to value physical movement. We're not taught to value the outdoors, and a lot of us are nature deprived. We don't go out in green spaces. We don't get that wonderful, oxygen from the trees and just beautiful environment that just inspires and awes. So
it's all there.
It's all there, and it's free.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of stuff outside?
I do.
Okay, so I know. I guess, do you hike? You run? Do you do paddle boarding?
I know, but I want to.
I don't know if you have the balance for it. That's okay. I do it, but I worry about you falling in or something. You better wear a vest if you do.
I will.
You sure?
Helmet. I'll wear a helmet.
No, I don't know if you need that, but what do you do? Do you ride bikes?
I'm a cyclist.
Okay.
I walk every day with my dogs.
Okay.
I just discovered Beeman Park, north of town.
Yeah, nice.
Beautiful trails. I take advantage of the Shelby Greenway all the time. I'd ride out there on my bike. I work out at the gym.
Okay.
But I do get outside on a walk every single day with my dogs.
You blend cardio with weights? Or what is your emphasis? Because you get different things from both, right?
My emphasis is more weight training, but it is I'm sweating and breathing hard, and it is a cardio workout, but I don't get out there and jam on the treadmill.
Okay, or you'll go for your walks and such like that. But not
cycling.
And so do you stretch a lot?
I hardly stretch at all.
See, now that's interesting, because I'm not good at stretching. stretching either. But it does, I mean, when you stretch, at least then, it seems like you recover faster from pulled muscles, things like that.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. So my trainer puts together a program for me whereby the movement actually is stretching at the same time.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't feel the need to stretch.
Yeah, but can you stand and touch your toes without bending your knees?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, so you're just naturally limber. I could barely probably get down there. I mean, yeah, there's no way I can touch my toes. I might be able to get to my knees.
You know, I think men are less flexible in that area than women.
Maybe so, but I mean, flexibility is important too.
It
I
is
just always
important.
hear about this in trainers I've talked to, if you can get that, especially for recovering from injuries. All right, so I just wanted to get back to that last caller who was talking about the cholesterol and the statins. And we were talking during the break, what was it? Just about, aside from the diet changing, you know, if he has to be on a statin, you know, deal with the doctor on that. But combine exercise and just, okay, is it okay for him to still eat eggs?
It's fine to still eat eggs. Yeah, I mean, I think.
But that's higher in cholesterol, right?
Well, there's a difference between the cholesterol that we eat and the cholesterol that we naturally produce in our body.
That's what I wanted you to talk about,
right?
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm not a cholesterol expert and I'm not a doctor, but this is just from things that I've read and resources. And so I think you have to be really careful. Like when you get your cholesterol measured at the doctor, make sure that they're breaking it down into your HDL, LDL, and there's actually 2 different types of LDL.
Is that okay? Right, I've heard that. Yeah,
so there's the small, dense LDL, and then there's the light, fluffy LDL.
Yep.
And we don't want small, dense LDL.
Okay.
That's what gets and causes.
And you want
plaque.
really high HDL
and you
to
want
counter
high
it.
HDL, and even high, fluffy LDL is fine, right?
But you want to stay away from the bad time, because you could have what you're saying then is you could have a higher total cholesterol, but if your HDL is really high and your LDL is not so much, then your ratio is not that bad.
Yeah, so it's the ratio, and we need cholesterol, folks. Our brains need cholesterol. Our bodies need cholesterol to function.
I agree.
So, you know, we don't want to just completely throw the baby out with the bathwater here. Yeah, if you have a super, super elevated level of cholesterol, we need to deal with that. But, you know, I think we can manage it, and I think we've gone, you know, over the top. If you want to look at some doctors, look at some of the articles from Dr. Mark Hyman, look at some of the articles from gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but Dr. Hyman has some really good information on cholesterol and statins online if you want to Google him and get more of an expert opinion on that.
Okay.
But I think eggs are fine, you know, in moderation. Let's not eat a dozen eggs a day.
Right, exactly. How about you and I?
Okay.
Lunch today, on me, chili cheese fries.
Oh, man.
Yeah, how about chili cheese? I think if you ate that, you would probably keel over.
Well, I'll tell you. I think
if we had a big bowl of it and you dug in, would it be bad?
Would it be bad?
Yeah, would it be bad for you later? For you later, it would, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, I would feel it.
Let's go. It's on me.
Really?
Let's go. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Let's go get hot dogs.
Yeah, okay. Grass-fed, 100% pasture-raised.
I don't even know where to go find one of those.
Yeah, okay.
But I'll go to my favorite place, Hot Diggity Dog, over there.
Yeah.
I love hot dogs.
Oh, Nick.
I know. Gosh, I do. I just love them.
You know, it's the World Health Organization's list of carcinogens. You know, hot dogs and deli meats.
I know. All right, as we leave, let folks know how they can contact you.
So the best way right now is to reach me through my Gmail account, which would be hollyladdhealthcoach@gmail.com.
Health coach.
Or follow me on Facebook, Holly Ladd Health Coach. I'm posting interesting stuff on there, scientific studies, a lot of the stuff that I talked about today, new research and whatnot. And right now, I'm actually having a sale on my health coaching programs, 25% off for beginning of 2017, because I want people to get healthy.
Holly, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you again. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Back with more right after this. It's perfect.